What is this for?
The way these lights are on these why is there a second camera?
It's recording right now?
Both of them are, yes.
Oh.
So what's the interview going to be about?
Which one am I supposed to be looking at?
The one in the front.
I'm in the frame now. Alright. Why isn't that one on if those two are? What about that one?
I interviewed everybody.
I got this.
Can you state your first name, what subgroup you're in, and what other roles you have on the team during competition?
Shit, I'm actually interrogated.
What were your thoughts after seeing the game explanation video?
The game this year is definitely interesting. It's a lot more being on your side. A lot more strategy this year than definitely from last year, and it's very unique from previous year's games.
My immediate thought was that this was not going to be like any other game we had done before. I knew that this was going to be something a little bit more challenging, something we would have to design ahead of time rather than figure out as we were building it.
Well, it's different every year, but this year it seemed a little bit more intricate than normal. It just seemed like there was a lot more going on in different places instead of one common goal. There was different options for everybody. Just trying to figure out, I felt like it was more going to be built around strategy instead of just speed and throwing a game piece to get points.
It was surprising to see an actual quote-unquote water game after it was rumored about so much, but even though it was water themed, it was an actual water. And it did look a little more complicated because with the last competition, there was just like an intake of one game piece, but now there was like 2 different game pieces of 2 different sizes of material.
Because the game pieces were two very different sizes and shapes, whereas like the cones and cubes game was you could do everything with the same intake essentially, whereas this year the 2 different game pieces are extremely different and you're going to need to make some seriously different adaptations and to be able to pick up and use and manipulate those game pieces.
We had a lot of challenges designing wise with a balance between keeping reasonable designs that were within the parameters of the weight limit.
We had the weight issue after we actually ended up weighing it and found out that the robot itself is 109 pounds and my climber is 15.4, I think.
This is the first year we've really started implementing CAD, and I think there was challenges there, and I wasn't directly involved with CAD, but I know there were definitely challenges with trying to balance functionality with design. We had to make compromises, which were probably the hardest things. Getting everyone to agree on everything is probably the thing that takes up a lot of our time during build season, making sure we all have a design we can agree on and keep exploring that design until we have a fully built robot.
In terms of programming, I think the biggest challenge was probably making the robot more efficient. Whatever build came up with and sent to us, we would have to make it faster and so that we could get more points in the game. And so there were a lot of challenges with like the preciseness of this game. We had to make the robot able to do all those precise movements. We had to stay up here real late and work on the robot.
We were worried about our autos, so we were trying to work on our autos the most. And then the other stuff such as the intake, the elevator, and the swerve, that came along pretty easily.
Because we only got it like a day or 2 before competition. So we had to once we had programmed the robot, we had to change all the values to make sure that it worked with the game.